Brad Marchand is the guy who chirps opponents into oblivion and even licked players on live TV. But at home, he's building a quiet life as a husband and father married to Katrina Sloane and raising 2 daughters and a stepson. It's a surprising contrast for a player who spent 16 seasons as one of hockey's most notorious agitators. Marchand's story starts in Hammonds Plains, Canada, where he always felt underestimated. He wasn't the kid everyone expected to make it big. Instead, he used critics' doubts as motivation, pushing himself through endless skating drills on backyard rinks. Even as he put up 139 points over 3 years in junior hockey leagues, questions lingered about whether his game would hold up against NHL competition. Things didn't get easier when he was scratched during the 2008-09 Quebec Juniors semifinals. No explanation from the coach, just another moment that left him blindsided and determined to prove people wrong. His transition to pro hockey began with the Providence Bruins in 2008-09, where Marchand posted 59 points in 79 games. It was a solid start, but he wasn't seen as a future star. Early in his Boston Bruins career, he bounced between the AHL and NHL, fighting for a permanent spot. At the time, most saw him as a scrappy, undersized grinder, the guy who brought energy and edge, but probably not much scoring. But Marchand refused to settle for that label. He prioritized his work ethic and physical strength, focusing on the details that might give him an edge. He credited his drive to always having something to prove and never letting up, even when the odds weren't in his favor. While his style made him a pest on the ice, it also made him impossible to ignore. The real turning point came in the 2015-16 NHL season. At 28, an age where many players are already peaking, Marchand exploded for 37 goals, 6th in the NHL that year. Suddenly, he wasn't just the guy who got under everyone's skin. He was a legitimate scoring threat. The following year, he built on that momentum, finishing with 85 points and tying for 4th in league scoring. That leap in production forced everyone to look at him differently. A big part of his growth came from the influence of Zdeno, Chara, and Patrice Bergeron. Marchand watched how Chara handled every aspect of his game, from workouts to nutrition to mental focus. Bergeron, meanwhile, showed him what it meant to be a leader and a complete player. Bergeron's two-way play and calm presence helped Marchand channel his energy into something more controlled and effective. They pulled their teammates up to it. Even as his game evolved, Marchand never lost the edge that made him so polarizing. He could burn opponents with his speed and stick handling, then turn around and chirp them into oblivion. Fans and rivals alike knew that a night against Marchand meant dealing with both his skill and his antics. He once joked, "The people that boo me the loudest are the ones who pay to see me." He embraced the villain role, and it only added to his legend. But living on that edge came at a cost. Marchand's career is dotted with suspensions, fines, and more than a few headline-grabbing moments. The infamous licking incidents, yes, you heard that right, are just the tip of the iceberg. There were cross-checks, elbows, and all kinds of behavior that drove opponents crazy and made the NHL take notice. Even the commissioner weighed in, making it clear that Marchand's antics weren't exactly what the league wanted to promote. Despite all that, Marchand's consistency and impact on the ice couldn't be denied. When Patrice Bergeron retired in 2023, it was Marchand who stepped into the captaincy for the Boston Bruins. For a guy who started as a long-shot prospect and earned a reputation as the league's most notorious pest, leading an original 6 franchise is no small feat. His journey is more than just points and penalties. It's about resilience, growth, and finding ways to win no matter what anyone else thinks. Of course, the story doesn't end with his on-ice persona. For every headline about a suspension or a wild on-ice moment, there's another side to Marchand that most fans never see, and that's where things get even more interesting. Few players in NHL history have blurred the line between pest and performer quite like Brad Marchand. His reputation as the little ball of hate didn't just come from his chirping or relentless forecheck. It was cemented by moments that left even seasoned hockey fans shaking their heads. Take the 2018 playoffs. Marchand leaned in and licked Toronto's Leo Komarov on the cheek during a scrum. Weeks later, he repeated the move with Tampa Bay's Ryan Callahan. These incidents weren't just bizarre.
Antics? Oh, it is a night of spite here in Boston.
They sent shockwaves through the hockey world. The NHL responded quickly, warning Marchand through senior executive Colin Campbell that further antics would bring consequences.
I'm not trying to get into his head, he kept coming after me after the whistles and stuff like that every time he was going to the bench, so I just thought that if he wanted to keep touching me that we were going to get a little closer than he may want to.
Whether it was a calculated distraction or just a joke gone too far, the message was clear, and the league wasn't laughing. The reaction from fans and players was split. Some shrugged it off as classic Marchand, always finding ways to get under opponents' skin. Marchand himself later admitted he needed to rein it in, saying, "I've got to cut that stuff out. It's a distraction to the team." But licking was just the most headline-grabbing move in a long list of antics. Over his career, Marchand has been suspended 6 times, missing a total of 19 games, and fined 9 times for more than $600,000. Money that goes to the NHL Players Emergency Assistance Fund. From questionable elbows to slew footing, he's never shied away from controversy, and his name pops up often in debates about the league's most polarizing players. Despite the chaos on the ice, Marchand's life away from the rink looks completely different. In 2015, he married Katrina Sloane, who has become a steady presence throughout his career. Together, they have 2 daughters, Sawyer, born in 2017, and Rue, born in 2022. As well as Katrina's son, Sloane, from her previous relationship. While Marchand deals in chaos on game nights, Katrina runs her own home design business and the clothing brand Marchand Mill Co. She's been a constant source of support, especially during big transitions, like Marchand's move to the Florida Panthers. After the trade, Katrina shared a heartfelt message online, thanking Boston fans for their support over 16 years and reflecting on the memories they built as a family. Their family life is surprisingly low-key for an NHL star. Marchand isn't one to show off luxury cars or extravagant vacations on social media. Instead, his focus is on family routines, time with his kids, and the quieter moments at home. Even the family dog seems to get more attention than any flashy purchase. The contrast between his on-ice persona and his home life is striking. His kids and Katrina see the side of him that's silly, involved, and dependable, not the agitator who gets booed in every opposing arena. Teammates and coaches have noticed this duality too. Bruins coach Jim Montgomery once described Marchand as a good person and fun to be around, a sentiment echoed by new teammates in Florida who find him surprisingly easygoing in the locker room. It's a sharp contrast to the player fans love to hate. Even with his history of suspensions and fines, Marchand's relationships with those around him remain strong. His ability to separate the two worlds, fierce competitor on the ice, devoted husband and father at home, has become a defining trait. The Panthers' tradition of throwing plastic rats on the ice, a nod to the rat trick from 1995-96, adds another layer of irony as Marchand joins a team with its own quirky legacy. While fans may never fully reconcile his wildest moments with his reputation as a family man, those close to him see how he manages to keep both sides in check. Marchand's life is a study in contrast, but it's clear that both sides have shaped him. His story isn't just about controversy or chaos. It's about finding a way to thrive in both worlds. And as his career moves forward, the balance he struck between those two lives might be his most impressive achievement yet. If you enjoyed this video, check out this one on Connor McDavid's lifestyle. It's not what you think.